Shalom. Kwam Yasha'Allah. Koholoyimla Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakahakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. That by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth, and just want to take the water to all the H.I.M and Akwaf. That's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai to the best of their ability. This is Zachanan Nawak. It's coming at you with another quick lesson. Praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And one of those articles, man, with Esau. You know, because Esau is being revealed in these last days. So it's entitled, this is in Express US. I was 24 when I met my biological dad for the first time. Then we had a child together. And you know the first comment that I seen? Check out the first comment. Well, it's not the first comment anymore, but this one right here. The Edomites from the clefts of the red rocks, Obadiah 1 and 3. Somebody put this up there, bro. It was the very first comment that I seen. I was like, oh shit, somebody from New York City, New York. Makael. Oh, that's crazy though. They put that Esau is being exposed, man. And this the man, you know, that's all in the Epstein files. And they, you know, me speaking as a man, them Epstein files, man, they could have some, you know, the Trump dealing with Ivanka, you know, the way they did, because I've seen some erotic photos of their asses looking like, God damn, nigga, is that really your daughter? Why you pressing up on her like that's your woman? You just never can tell. Anyway, let's get what we just seen there, Obadiah. Oh yeah, he put the clefts of the rocks. Yeah, because you know they on some. I was just watching the Flintstones the other day too. They took that shit off TV. If you ever watched the Flintstones, and matter of fact, the episode that I was watching, the guy that played Barney Rubble, he got the yellow hair. You know, supposedly be the blonde hair. He was, I don't know, I guess he was hypnotized as a dog or something, but he was acting like a damn dog in that particular episode. And Fred had him on a leash, and he ended up getting caught by the dog catcher and going to the dog pound. That was just yesterday. That was the spirit. Obadiah 1, let me start at verse 2. It says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. And it's these kinds of articles right here that's got the world talking about Esau now, man. Esau is being exposed. He's being said that he's the actual Edomites. You know, that white shit they've been hiding behind, European, that Caucasian, no, all that shit is out the window now. People are starting to really call them for who they really are, the Edomites. They come from Abraham, Isaac, and Esau. Also known as Edom, or also known in the Greek as Idumeans. They're pinkish to reddish in color. They're not white, man. Verse 3, it says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Well, the Lord is bringing you down to the ground right now. Let's get some of this article. It is, you know, pretty damn disgusting, but, you know. And then when you go to the comment boards is like, but see, Esau don't want to admit that it's their people. See? Oh, people in here like, well, what's going on here? But it's a bunch of Edomite shit. Alabama, yeah. Nobody wants to, you know, Esau. See, when it comes to Esau and his shit, they don't have no accountability. They pretty much like the woman. No accountability whatsoever. You know, they just looking like, oh, well, yeah, that's, you know. But see, when stories like this is mentioned, you ain't even got to mention no race. Or the first thing that hits your mind is white people. Because it's something that's they've been ongoing with doing for centuries, man. They doing this right now in Alabama somewhere. Some white guy's dealing with his daughter at night. Throughout all of America, but mainly, you know, that's a southern thing. They real big on that in the South, man. You know, real close incest. Okay, but it says a woman who connected with her biological father at the age of 24 and subsequently had a child with him has spoken candidly about the controversial relationship. At merely 5 weeks old, Sophia was placed up for adoption by a birthing home where her unwed mother had been sent in shame following her pregnancy. Her father was sent to Australia for work experience, and despite her mother's appeals, Sophia was brought up by adopted parents in Yorkshire. She wouldn't encounter her birth parents until adulthood. In a final gesture, her mother, Janet, registered her details, hoping that Sophia might someday choose to reconnect. Upon reaching her 20s, Sophia experienced a desire to locate her birth parents. Sophia eventually met Janet in a reunion she characterized as both joyful and disorientating, but acknowledged she felt utterly unprepared for the intensity of the homecoming. Although Janet and her birth father, Michael, hadn't maintained contact through the years, she succeeded in obtaining his personal information. Therefore, in an attempt to reach out to Sophia, wrote Michael. So he wrote from Australia, and he replied. Sophia told the Times that it marked the start of a month of letters, phone calls, as the pair formed an intense connection, talking about everything from philosophy to art to psychology. Let me slow down, Slovakia. Their encounter took place in the UK. From the moment we met, it felt astonishingly easy between us. See? As though, rather than having never met until now, we have known each other forever. Edomites, man. However, circumstances shifted. After their first day together, Sophia revealed that as she lay awake on the sofa, with Michael sleeping in her bed, she found herself disturbed by feelings she could barely admit. She confessed, "What frightened me most was not that the connection felt wrong, but that it felt so natural." Yeah, it feels natural because you Edomites, you're not spiritual people, man. You picked up the Bible, you fronted as if you was this righteous people, all in the name of idolatrous, sweet white baby Jesus, and y'all some of the most wicked people on the planet. You are the wicked. Matter of fact, the scripture says you're the border of wickedness, right? It says, I realized with horror that I was experiencing resembled romantic attraction. I had spent much of my adult life thus far searching for this kind of effortless emotional connection with a man, and now impossibly I felt it for the last person I should. Esau, boy. And her account, Sophia, that Sophia is wisdom in the scriptures, man. And not no shit like this. She don't deserve a name like that. Sophia suggests that she experienced a condition called genetic sexual attraction, GSA. Yeah, Esau got a acronym for everything that he does wrong out here, where biological relatives separated at birth can sometimes develop a powerful bond. It don't make no difference. If you the father, even if this bitch is acting stupid with her hormones, what about the dad? Where's your cutoff zone at, nigga? Nah, man. Hey, you done went and had a kid with your kid? Disgusting, bro. Anyway, Sophia and Michael proceeded to pursue a relationship, cohabitating in Australia, and to all outward appearances, seeming like a typical couple. They even believed they could sustain it. However, the burden of their secret took a mental toll, with Sophia admitting that they knew deep down that their relationship wouldn't work in public. She eventually decided to move back to England. Adding to the complexity, on the night before she was due to fly, Sophia found out she was pregnant. Unable to go through with a termination, she went back to Australia and had a son. She confessed they'd been concerned that her son might suffer from inherited disorders. Whoa, what inherited disorders? Talking about a damn retard? I hear drooling at the mouth and shit. An extra arm that grew out of his rib cage. Says, but he flourished. To explain its origins, Sophia created a fake boyfriend and she resumed her relationship with her father. Yet the unbearable strain of the secret would ultimately prove too powerful, and Sophia moved back to the UK. Her mom would eventually ask Sophia who the father was, and she decided to confess. Crazy work. And the bombshell circulated around two families. Sophia faced some emotional, brutal years, complete with confrontations and relentless pressures for the pair to not meet again. Later, Sophia found herself engaged to a different man and having another son. Meanwhile, her son would visit his father in Australia and missed him when he wasn't there. Sophia decided to tell him the truth. Crazy work. You gonna pull another man into that bullshit. You should have just went ahead and just, Matter of fact, let's get the law on this. Let's get the law. I think it's in it's Leviticus 18. I think that the law on stuff like this. Yep, laws of immoral relations, right? Now this, see, you Edomites, you put your hands on the Bible acting as if you were this holy people when you shouldn't have never even touched the scriptures, because these laws, statutes, and commandments are for the children of Israel. Because it says right here in verse 2, it says, speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, I am the Lord your God. So we know who this is being addressed to right there. So now let's get into the law. I'm going to read it in the Amplified. I'll start at verse 5. So ye shall keep my statutes and my judgments, by which, if a person keeps them, he shall live. I am Yahweh. And that's the true name of the Father, which means that he exists, or the existing one. And the true name of his son is Yahweh Shai, which means that he's the Savior or deliverer in the Paleo Hebrew. Not no damn white Jesus, because that white Jesus, that whole image gives effeminate. That whole image gives homosexual. That whole image of the blonde-haired, blue-eyed white Jesus just gives effeminate as hell, man. Okay, but verse 6, going into the law. No one shall approach any blood relative of his to uncover nakedness, have intimate relations. I am the Lord. So you don't get no more intimate than your parents and children, right? It says no one shall approach any blood relative of his and uncover nakedness, have intimate relations. I am the Lord. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father, that is the nakedness of your mother. Salakia. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father, that is the nakedness of your mother. She is your mother. You shall not uncover her nakedness. You got situations where these Edomites. Matter of fact, I done a lesson. It was it's been some months back, where this a guy came home, and one of the sons, they both had, I don't know if they worked together, if they got off the job at the same time, but they came to the crib, and the son was banging his mama. They ended up calling the cops and shit, you know what I'm saying? And I forgot the whole situation, but I did a lesson on it, I remember it, but, it was all on film, man. The police was out there trying to separate them motherfuckers. He was ready to go ape shit crazy. I think the mother ended up going to jail. I'm not exactly sure why. I don't know if they had a law on incest. But even with Esau and his laws, it's only a slap on the wrist, because Esau, he sleeps with animals and everything. Esau, bestiality is legal in America. These Edomites been getting caught up sleeping with horses, cows, dogs, especially the women. Right? Verse 8, it says, you shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's wife. It is your father's nakedness. But that's the law is going into, just who you can deal with and who you can't deal with when it comes to a sexual relationship, man. But let's see if it's any in so they have near to kin to him. It says remainder of his flesh, notwithstanding the prohibitions here, I must be evident that the infancy of the world person is very near. Let me see. I don't know. They kind of got. I just wanted to see. Yeah, but the whole chapter goes in. Okay, so this is the law going further in chapter 20. Because I don't think it, let me see, verse 11. Leviticus 20:11 and 11. And the man that lieth with his father's wife hath uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. And if a man lie with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought confusion. Their blood shall be upon them. So it goes into a daughter-in-law. It doesn't necessarily, let me see if it mentions the daughter. Leviticus 20:17. And if a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, and see her nakedness, and she see his nakedness, it is a wicked thing. And they shall be cut off in the sight of their people. He hath uncovered his sister's nakedness. He shall bear his iniquity. And Esau into that big time, man. And if a man shall lie with a woman having her sickness, okay, I think that's going into Verse 19, and thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, which is your auntie basically, nor your father's sister, which is your auntie, for he uncovereth his near kin, they shall bear their iniquity. And if a man shall lie with his uncle's wife, he hath uncovered his uncle's nakedness, they shall bear their sin, they shall die childless. And if a man shall take his brother's wife, it is unclean, it is an unclean thing, he hath uncovered his brother's nakedness, they shall be childless. So basically, let me see, damn, I didn't mean to go out, come out. And go back into that. Because if you can't sleep with your damn, with your daughter-in-law, that must entail your daughter as well. It's lock here. Either way, it's wicked as fuck, bro. But Esau, he's into stuff like that, man. You know? You're not supposed to be sleeping with your next to kin like that, man. That's wicked as all hell, bro. Here you go. Because both of them adults, you know what I'm saying? She was 24, but I'm talking about the dad, though. You think, like, you know he had to have been a complete goddamn scumbag. You know what I'm saying? To even fall through with that shit. Like, bitch, I mean, nigga, you ain't think, like, nah, you know, nah. You ain't never done nothing for the girl in your damn life. And you know, you ride her down to give her a baby. Come on, bro. Incredible. Anyway, but this is Esau, man. And then she get engaged to a different dude, bro. To bring some other guy into that silliness, man. She says her son accepted the information with remarkable maturity, but further difficulties came. One of Michael's exes reported their relationship to the police. He was arrested. He received a suspended sentence for incest. But due to the consenting nature of the relationship between two adults who hadn't had a familiar relationship, it was described as a technical incest. It's still incest. Right? So you see the point. And again, you know what I'm saying? I just thought it interesting that I seen this Edomites. The Edomites, they got the Flintstones in this bitch, man. Or, you know, not the actual Flintstones, but it's a good representation. Anyway, and this is just Esau being exposed for being the wicked that he is, man. You know, I want to get two more scriptures if you know, Yahweh Ratazah. We'll see where it leads here. Psalms 50 and 16, because see, Esau, he's notorious for making the world think that he's the righteous. You know, he gave you white Jesus. He gave you a white God. He got the people thinking that the angels are white people, you know what I'm saying? The apostles, the prophets, Mary, Adam, Eve, whoever. They think, you know, he got the world thinking that the characters of the Bible, so to speak, which would be so-called black people, look like them, or actually them. So Psalms 50 and 16, it says, but unto the wicked, Yahweh saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instructions, and castest my words behind thee? And Amplified, it says, but to the wicked, Yahweh says, what right have you to recite my statutes, or take my covenant on your lips? For you hate instruction and discipline, and cast my words behind you, discarding them. What are you doing with the Bible, bro? And I'm willing to bet you both of them will tell you they're Christians. The daughter and the father. All right? But let's get this one on Esau being revealed. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come. What day is it talking about? The day of the coming of the Lord Yahweh Shai, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus. Except there come a falling away first. So the falling away first didn't already happen. You know, that was, you know, the Israelites falling away from their customs, their way of life, their dietary laws. Just, you know, now they think that they just African Americans. They think that they're Puerto Ricans. They think that they're Haitians or Jamaicans, you know. waving the flag of the so-called white man. It's a lucky for that noise in the backdrop. It says, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. The man of sin, the son of perdition, is Esau, Edom. That's the biblical name for the so-called white race today. Because they're not white. We say so-called because they're pinkish to reddish in color. Just look at them. They out right now in this hot-ass weather. They trying to get in this heat and, and get them some sun so they can get some color, And most of them go out there, that sun be tearing their asses up, man. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a curse that's on them. It's a curse to not have melanin. It's a curse to have blonde hair. It's a curse to have blue, green, or whatever eyes. You know what I'm saying? Recessive genes, man. Verse 4. Because, see, they done lied to the world, too, and told the world that there's this red guy on the ground. He's called the devil. He's got 2 horns on his head. He's got that nice little, little goatee. He got that, a little pitchfork, you know what I'm saying? Or a triton, or what they call him. He's got the little pointed tail. And he's just, breathing fire and shit. And he's standing around this lake of fire in the middle of the earth. And he's the devil. And he's the, the main warden of this prison called hell that you go to if you're a bad person. That shit is not biblical, man. It's nowhere in the scriptures. It's nowhere in the scriptures. And there's lessons on that. But that's his way of distorting the scriptures, man. This man had distorted the scriptures in so many ways. That's why I read that Psalms 15 and 16. What is thou to do to declare my statutes? What you doing with the Bible? Why are you quoting scriptures? Why are you setting up cemetery schools, we call them, seminary schools. Why are you doing that? You're the wicked, man. Verse 4, it says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he is God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. And no one has placed their face on the scriptures like how Esau, the so-called white man, has. Because when you go into God, I always pull this up, just to give people visuals. Let's put in God of the Bible. Let's just put in God of the Bible. Let's see what images pop up. So when you go into images, let's get images. See? When you get God of the Bible, this is normally what you see. This kind of stuff right here. Butt naked ass men and women. Little butt naked children. Why these kids? Why the kids always butt naked in these pictures, man, of Esau? See, this is what the people think of. Like the Lord was just out here. He's just gonna show his nakedness. He just wants you to see him. Just, Then they got these newer AI ones. The Lord don't look like this, man. The scriptures describe the Lord as being a dark melanated man with woolly hair. But this is, this is what he done. When you go back into, let's go back to that verse again. Verse 4. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God. See? Oh, no, I can make better fruits and vegetables than the Lord. I'm going to take the seeds out. No, we don't like the sun. We're gonna block the sun out. We're gonna, enhance humans. We're gonna put computer chips in them. The Lord didn't do a good job. This is him on the left hand side, man, trying to be God-like. Verse 4 again, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he is God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Who does that? We clearly just look at these pictures again. This is him. You never seen Chinese people do this. You never seen Japanese people do this. You never seen, you know what I'm saying? You never seen Cambodian or Filipino people do this. This is them. See? Every time you see you're the son of God, look. This is what you're going to get. You're going to get someone that looks like them. When the scriptures clearly describe the children of Israel as being dark melanated people. Now, is it a color thing? No, it's not a color thing because, your DNA has to go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Which that's the, he's the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel. So the 12 tribes of Israel, going into captivity after captivity after captivity after captivity, have been scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth. So we spread our seed amongst the other nations. So our people look like the other nations as well, but they still come from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So a person that looks like this image of so-called white baby Jesus here, Yeah, they can be an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's Israelites that look like Chinese people, Japanese people, so on and so forth, everywhere in the world. But the Lord was a dark melanated man. If he was walking the earth today, he would be a Negro, not this fucking cracker, man. But again, this is what they done. And they're in control of the curriculum. They're in control of what people read, what they, you know, overall, the writing system, you know, their media. They give you these movies and have people all, you know. Now, let's put in Yahweh Shai of the Bible. Let's see. Let's just see if anything pops up. See? Whole totally different vibe, man. See? You put in Yahweh Shai. You put in Yahweh. See? You don't see none of that white Jesus crap popping up, man, because they know. There's plenty of old images, man, of our people. You know, you can go into the Russian icons. See? See, the Lord don't look like this guy right here, man. Who is this? And see? They say, who is this? Yeah, who is this? It's a fucking idol, man. Jake, you got to get away from that idolatrous God, man. Anyway, I know I didn't want to go long with it. Cause see, these are like older images, man. You can get older images and you'll see that the people, you know, when you go into them Russian icons and them older icons before they done, you know, the Renaissance or whatever, you know, the iconoclasm, and they whitewashed the pictures. The pictures, the images that were being painted back then were pictures of dark melanated men and women, man. So Esau, you know, your ass is through, man. You're being found out, man. You're being exposed. And this kind of nastiness right here, this is you all day, man, because you don't care about the scriptures. You don't care about the scriptures, man. I'm willing to bet you these people are fucking, they'll tell you straight up and down they Christians. And look at this dude. This is exactly what it is right here. Yep, right here. Anyway, comments is not looking well for y'all. Somebody says, what the fuck did I just read? Yeah. And this is something. This is a thing, man. This is a thing. This is a you know, you'd be surprised at how often this type of shit happens, man. It goes on. Caveman comedy, somebody says. Yep. Esau, man. That's that Job. Job 30. Matter of fact, that brother, he put in that Obadiah 1 and 3. Let's see though. Job 30. Starting from the top, verse 1. Let me see how it reads in the Amplified. It says, but now those younger than I mock and laugh at me, whose fathers I refuse to put with the sheepdogs of my flock. Yeah, you don't want them to even be around your dogs, man. Indeed, how could the strength of their hands profit me? Vigor had perished from them. They are gaunt and want and famine. They gnaw the dry and barren ground by night in the gloom of waste and desolation. They pluck and eat saltwort, mallows among the bushes, and their food is the root of a broom shrub. They are driven from the community. They shout after them as after a thief. They must dwell, Salakia. Verse 6 again. They must dwell on the slopes of wadis, and in the holes in the grounds and the rocks. See, it says in the caves of the earth, and in the KJV, to dwell in the clefts of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. See, among the bushes, they cried out like wild animals. Beneath pricky scrub, they gather and huddle together. See, they are the sons of worthless and nameless fools. They have been driven out of the land. This is how bad it had got with them and being in society, man. They was driven out, man. You know? Yeah, man. Hey, look, man. Hey, these are the Edomites, man, and they're being exposed, and we gonna keep on their asses, man. We need to keep on their asses, continue on praying for the downfall of Esau, Edom's kingdom, and stay on their asses, revealing who they are, because that's a part of prophecy. So with that, pray that this lesson was edifying. Kwame Yasha Allah and a Baba Ball.